Have you ever felt like you're watching your life unfold through multiple camera angles simultaneously? Like you're not just the main character in your story, but also the director, the audience, and the critic all at once? If you're nodding along, experiencing that peculiar sensation of being both the observer and the observed, you might just be an INFJ, and that remarkable double consciousness you're experiencing isn't just a random quirk. It's actually one of the most fascinating aspects of the INFJ personality type, their almost supernatural level of self-awareness. Hey there, insightful souls. Today we're embarking on an extraordinary journey into the depths of the INFJ mind, specifically focusing on their unparalleled capacity for self-awareness. By the time we wrap up this exploration, you'll understand why INFJ aren't just self-aware, they're operating on a level of consciousness that would make Buddhist monks raise their eyebrows in appreciation. The INFJ mental mission control, understanding the complex internal system. Let's start by diving into what makes the INFJ mental landscape so uniquely sophisticated. Imagine, if you will, a state-of-the-art mission control center. While most people might have a simple control panel with basic switches and dials for their thoughts and emotions, INFJ are working with something more akin to NASA's mission control complex, multi-layered and constantly processing vast amounts of data from multiple sources simultaneously. This isn't just about having an inner voice. INFJ essentially have an entire internal council chamber. There's the primary observer who watches their thoughts and actions in real time, the analyst who processes and categorizes these observations, the emotional sensor who monitors their feelings and those of others, and the intuitive forecaster who's constantly projecting possible future scenarios. All these aspects work together in perfect synchronization, creating a level of self-awareness that's almost cinematic in its scope. What makes this system truly remarkable is its constant operation. Unlike most people who might occasionally step back to reflect on their thoughts and actions, INFJ are perpetually engaged in this multi-level awareness. It's like having a documentary crew following you around 24/7, but instead of being external, it's all happening within your own mind. The mirror effect, the INFJ information processing system. The way INFJ process information is nothing short of remarkable. Their dominant cognitive function, introverted intuition (NI), works like an advanced pattern recognition software that's constantly running in the background. But it's not just collecting data, it's simultaneously analyzing, categorizing and connecting information in ways that most other types simply don't experience. Think of it like this: while most people might see individual trees, INFJ are constantly aware of the entire forest, including the underground root system connecting everything together. Every interaction, every conversation, every subtle shift in someone's body language or tone of voice gets processed through multiple filters simultaneously. This creates a fascinating feedback loop where they're not just aware of what they're experiencing, but also aware of how they're processing what they're experiencing. It's metacognition taken to an art form. They might be in a conversation while simultaneously analyzing their own responses, the other person's reactions, the underlying dynamics at play, and how this interaction fits into larger patterns they've observed. The emotional archaeologist diving deep into the layers of feeling. One of the most fascinating aspects of INFJ self-awareness is their approach to emotional processing. They don't just experience emotions, they excavate them. Like skilled archaeologists, they carefully brush away layer after layer, examining each emotional artifact they uncover with meticulous attention to detail. When an INFJ experiences an emotional reaction, they don't just acknowledge it and move on. Instead, they embark on a thorough investigation. What triggered this emotion? How is it connected to past experiences? What deeper beliefs or values does this emotional response reveal? How does this emotion fit into their overall emotional landscape? It's like having an emotional GPS that not only tells you where you are but also shows you how you got there and where you might be heading. This depth of emotional awareness extends beyond their own feelings. INFJ often find themselves naturally mapping out the emotional landscapes of others, understanding not just what others are feeling, but why they're feeling it and how those emotions connect to deeper patterns and experiences. The Social Chameleon's self-awareness paradox. Perhaps one of the most intriguing aspects of INFJ's self-awareness is how it manifests in social situations. INFJ possess an almost supernatural ability to adapt to different social environments and people. But what sets them apart is their acute awareness of this adaptation process. Unlike natural social chameleons who might unconsciously mirror others, INFJ are hyper-aware of every shift in their presentation. This creates a fascinating paradox where they're simultaneously adapting to social situations while maintaining a meta-awareness of their adaptation. They might find themselves in a conversation, perfectly matching the other person's energy and communication style, while another part of their mind is observing and analyzing this very process. Why am I speaking more slowly now? Am I matching their tone because it feels natural, or am I doing it deliberately? Is this authentic behavior, or am I just trying to make them comfortable? The empathy ecosystem, understanding the interconnected web of emotions. INFJ empathy isn't just about feeling what others feel, it's about understanding the entire ecosystem of emotions at play in any given situation. Their self-awareness extends to understanding how their own emotional states might influence their empathic readings of others, and vice versa. It's like having an emotional weather radar that not only detects storms, but also understands how different weather patterns interact and influence each other. This level of awareness can be both a blessing and a challenge. While it allows INFJ to navigate complex emotional situations with remarkable skill, it also means they're constantly processing multiple layers of emotional information. They might be aware of their own feelings about a situation, the feelings of others involved, how these emotions are influencing each other, and how the entire emotional landscape might shift based on different actions or responses. The perfectionist's panoramic perspective. INFJ perfectionism is unique because it comes with full awareness of its own nature. They can simultaneously strive for perfection while being completely aware of the potentially unreasonable nature of their standards. It's like watching yourself play a game where you know the rules are impossibly difficult, yet choosing to play anyway because the pursuit itself holds value. This creates an interesting dynamic where INFJ often find themselves engaged in internal dialogue about their perfectionist tendencies. They might be working on a project while simultaneously analyzing their approach to it. I know I'm being too meticulous about this, and I'm aware that this level of detail isn't necessary, but I also understand that this perfectionism is part of who I am and sometimes leads to valuable insights. The time-space continuum of INFJ consciousness. The INFJ awareness exists, not just in the present moment, but seems to span across time itself. They maintain an acute awareness of how their past experiences shape their present responses, how their current actions might influence future outcomes, and how all these temporal layers interact with each other. This temporal awareness creates a unique form of self-knowledge where INFJ can track their own personal development like watching a time-lapse video of a growing plant. They notice patterns in their growth, understand how different experiences have shaped their development, and can often anticipate future areas of personal evolution. The authenticity algorithm, processing genuine self-expression. INFJ approach authenticity with the same depth of awareness they bring to everything else. They're constantly running what we might call an authenticity algorithm, analyzing their actions, words, and choices against their internal value system and sense of self. This creates an interesting dynamic where they're simultaneously being authentic while analyzing their own authenticity. It's like having a truth detector pointed at yourself at all times, but one that understands that truth and authenticity can be complex and multi-layered. Conclusion. The INFJ level of self-awareness is truly remarkable. It's like having a built-in consciousness enhancer that's always running in the background. This deep awareness touches every aspect of their lives, from how they process emotions to how they interact with others, from how they understand their own thoughts to how they navigate their personal growth journey. For INFJ, this heightened self-awareness is both their greatest strength and their most significant challenge. It's what makes them such insightful counselors, empathetic friends, and profound thinkers. But it also means they're carrying a heavy cognitive load, constantly processing multiple layers of awareness. The key for INFJ is not to fight this intense self-awareness, but to learn to work with it effectively. It's about finding balance, knowing when to dive deep into their analytical processes and when to simply let themselves be present in the moment. After all, the goal isn't just to understand life, but to live it fully. To all the INFJ out there, your remarkable self-awareness isn't just a random trait. It's a gift that allows you to understand yourself and others in ways that few can match. Embrace it, learn to manage it, and use it to make the world a little bit better, one insightful interaction at a time. Remember, being able to see yourself and the world through so many different lenses isn't a burden, it's your superpower. Use it wisely, but don't forget to sometimes just exist in the moment experiencing life without analyzing it. After all, even the most sophisticated camera needs to sometimes just capture the beauty of the moment without wondering about the technical details of how it's doing so.